Headphones today. Sometime last year, somebody asked me about the Master and Dynamics MW75s. Are they the same as the Mark Levinson 5909s? And do they sound the same as the Mark Levinson 5909s? Visually, they are slightly different. I'd know what somebody means if they think they are the same, because there are so many similarities. May of this year, I decided to buy the MW75. Something to add to the collection. You see how good I am? You see what I do for you lot? Remember that. So I bought the MW75 with my own money. Out of the box, very nice looking headphone. You see that? They've got a box. You're watching this, Focal. Looking at them, the headband seems to be exactly the same. And the adjustable arms seem to be exactly the same right up until they go into this one-piece single arm into the air cup. The high gloss finish is nice, although I'm going to be picking out and say it looks cheap being high gloss. And when I look a little further, the buttons on the 5909 seem to be a little bit more refined. The markings and the fine detail, if you look at the volume up and the volume down button on the 5909 and that center button that you press for track back and track forward, the little indentation and color on the power button, even down to the curved shaping of the buttons with that ever so tiny bevel. That fine detail makes it look a little more expensive than the buttons that you'll find on the MW75, which are just round and they've got the markings on top. Zooming in and looking at the fine detail of the markings of air cup left and air cup right being engraved on the 5909, wherever you have just the paint writing on the MW75. If you look on the MW75, you'll see that the air cups are metal. And at the end there is glass, whereas there's the plastic on the air cup of the 5909. Although it has automotive grade paint, it cannot compete with the better quality materials on the air cups on the MW75. Looking deeper, the air pads on the MW75 don't seem to be as wide as the air pads on the 5909s. When I actually put the headphones on my head, I would say the fit of the air pads on the MW75 are a on-air stroke maneuver over-ear fit. They are not a definite over-ear fit as the 5909s are. The 5909 has a fatter air pad as well. That seats around your ear on your head, giving you an instant seal. I'm sort of struggling to get the seal right on the MW75 because of that thinner padding, and it's just not sealing first time. You have to maneuver it around to try and get as best a seal as you can. Whereas the 5909s are a first time fit. Once I have the MW75s on, there's plenty of adjustment in the headband. And I noticed that when you listen to passive noise isolation, that's just the headphones on your head without any music playing, you have got more sound isolation from unwanted noises on the 5909s when you compare both headphones. The MW75 is not as good. It's not far off, but you can tell that the 5909 has better noise isolation. Down to the nitty-gritty, the MW75 has beryllium drivers, making them far superior to the drivers on the 5909. With such high spec, I know it's not all about materials, but straight away I'm thinking, this is competition. What I have to say here is, when I was poised to listen to both of them, I thought I really have to concentrate now, and I was even thinking of words I might use or things I might pick out between the two to try and differentiate both, to find out where the strengths are and the weaknesses are. And all I can say is I never had to touch anything in that category. I can sum up how the MW75 sound in a few words. I listened to Robert Miles' Golden Rust and The Prodigy Breathe, and this is listening to them through a Bluetooth connection on my Samsung Galaxy S23 Ultra. And these are words to describe the audio from the MW75s. Very dry, empty, two-dimensional, lacking any depth, and lacking character. Harsh, but I definitely was shocked, and I was not expecting that. In comparison, these are the words I would use to describe the audio from the 5909s. Full-bodied, layered in a good way, and holographic with a wealth of effortless, precise detail. The MW75 don't sound bad. It's just that they're not even close. I use the sound profile on the MW75 in the app and the E preset EQ. I tried all the options, still not going to help here. As a positive in audio from the MW75, I can say that it has a very upfront and forward sound. Okay, I got the MW75 straight out of the box. They weren't running, whereas the 5909s have been running for around 3 years. So I decided to run in the MW75s for 30 to 40 hours. Nah. It's an exaggeration saying they're miles apart, but there's no comparison. I'm not even going to discuss codecs or codec advantage. I could have even decided to listen to them wired, but not interested. That's it, it's all over. I tested the ANC. I didn't really go in too much detail. I used them on the train. Yes, they blocked out the noise. I don't know how good they were compared to the 5909s, but the ANC was good. So that's that. Looking at the case, you can see that the finish just might be that bit more polished on the 5909's case. It looks like a better finish, and even down to the lugs on the zip, you have 5909 written on there, a little bit more detail. This is absent on the MW75 case. And even the badge or the logo badge on the front of the case, it looks like just a thin plate on the MW75's case, whereas you got that bolder, better, higher quality marking on the 5909 case. Looking inside the case, you're following this focal. Look at all of the accessories that you have with the MW75. You're looking. This is good. Comparing this to the 5909's accessories, I think there's longer cables, more cables, and the individual compartments and places that you have everything just looks like a higher quality product in the internals of the case. The head detection's good on the MW75, but one thing I would wish is that when you actually take the headphones off and put them back on again, that the music would restart. Maybe you can change that in the app, but when I take the headphones off, it pauses, and when I put the headphones back on, the audio doesn't resume. You need to press play to start it. My Vinci headphones, when I take those off, the head detection is good on those as well. You take them off, it pauses. As soon as you put the headphone back on again, the audio resumes. Pricing on the MW75, I think the balance is more in favor of the build quality and materials rather than the audio, which doesn't really impress. I really do think they're overpriced. If you've got them and you love them, that's great. Enjoy them. Enjoy every moment of them and everything they do. That's it. Thank you for watching.